The world is not falling apart. Veil of worldwide corruption is lifting, and there'll be a new golden age to come. We're here to watch it all come down, and there is a ray of hope in and amongst this storm, praying for the world, holding the vision. The writer says, I've been on fire these past couple of months with everything happening around the world. The old world most of us have grown up in, that we found familiar, appears to be going up in flames. And as I watch this blatant inferno, my mind immediately starts to label it as a crumbling wasteland of utter chaos. As I invite that notion in, it swirls around my brain, bringing forth the question, what can I do? What can we do but to watch it all crash to the ground? I can feel, along with most likely many of you who are reading this, but that we have been in the midst of a dark agenda playing out for hundreds of years, causing the deterioration of humanity in the form of our inherent human consciousness as well as our beloved earthly environment. In my opinion, the darkness is a natural fluctuation in times. Seems foreign, even removed to say, we are very much still in the dark ages. Yes, we may have moved away from visibly decapitating people for speaking their truth about, but we are still very much in the infancy of a mass civilization, waking up out of solely the physical planes into higher uses of consciousness. I'm not speaking of superhuman intuitive powers like telekinesis, teleportation via the mind, or remote viewing, or mind reading, although I believe those are abilities we were and are very much capable of. But I am more speaking of the simple ability, for example, to know that although we are in this physical body, we're animated by and connected to spirit itself. Meaning that any person outside of yourself is an active aspect of you. He or she is literally a part of you. The simple ascension from fear-based, head-centered navigation to this heart-centered knowledge will and would be reality shifting when implemented on a global scale. Just imagine with me if the majority of humanity knew and started integrating that one belief into their everyday lives, physical violence would surely begin to end. And with each bomb that's detonated seems to shatter a layer of the collective consciousness. And yet underneath the rubble of this zone we call our home, this attack on our and my consciousness and in our physical world survives a deep inner truth. And in order for the old order to fall away, we have to watch it decline into disorder. The predictions in the past have been correct about the end of times, but it's not what the mass media portrayed it as, because this is an end to the times as we knew them. This movement into a new world begins with the spiritual and unseen realms first, and then ripples across the physical world. In 2012, that was the first dismantling of the veil that protected any form of corruption from truth, and we're here to watch it all come down, and there is a ray of hope in and amongst the storm. There is a centralized theme and truth that has rang through history, that through the darkness comes the light once again. Everything in the universe is a mirror of itself, and this works with the geometry of space-time as well. Similar to the shape of our DNA, the storage house for all of our ancestors' journey through what we call epigenetics. The universe moves matter in a swirling, spiraling, up-down motion, and in oscillating organic patterns, these waves echo throughout the process of time and matter. There was a time in our history of knowing, the time of light when the human races you rarely hear of ruled the planet, and they still whisper gentle delights and enchantments into our hearts if you listen. The Sumerians, Lemurians, and Atlanteans, you have most likely heard of these civilizations, of one of them anyway. Each one of these cultures was a part of a time on Earth of pristine higher consciousness called the Golden Age. Just as we rose into the Golden Age, we have naturally declined into the Dark Ages. Whether this period of time was hijacked from us or whether it was destined from cosmic positioning, we will not know until we come into the great remembering and awakening once again. Either way, I want to stay focused on why we are here now rather than where we have come from. We're coming into a time when the people of this previous golden age predicted that we would start rising out of the darkness or lack of consciousness once again. I think that it's inevitable that we keep seeing the outbreak of every form of chaos, and it's like how your body takes 3 days to fire up the immune system to heal a wound, and the first response is swelling, redness, and inflammation. Well, the planet is inflamed, and the ones who are hearing the Earth's call and feeling this calling deeply are coming in with compassionate mindfulness to be part of her immune system. The more chaotic that our environment gets, the more it is an unraveling of all the corruption that has been hiding or hidden or blatantly and uncontrollably exercised upon the people for hundreds of years. The people in power have been focusing on the control of human consciousness, and their usual tactics aren't working anymore because we have reached a critical mass of enough of us who are awake. The 100th monkey effect, if you don't know, Google it. The veil of control is visibly fading, failing, and falling away. I wanted to write this because it's a reminder to others who have been putting in the work, quote unquote, to clear their karmic cycles here, to awaken and center into the remembrance of their mission. You have heard many people say that there are the 1% that hold the majority of power and resources on the planet. Well, I want to say this: just as everything moves in a symmetrical, dualistic fashion in this physical, visible realm, there is another equal 1% holding just as powerful of a resource. And that resource, you ask? Unlimited, unified collective consciousness, the fabric of all creation. And if you are one who has been hearing the clarion call of awakening, you are being invited to the forefront in the shaping of the new earth consciousness. So spreading the knowledge, keeping dedicated to the path of love and light, the darkness present is not entirely bad. It just needs to be loved, felt, seen, and honored back to remembrance. And together, we are creating a movement towards the next golden age. This is by Joyce Daher on Humans Be Free. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.